That's it. We made it.
All right. We got it, guys.
We did it. Welcome
We did
to
it.
Don't Worry Wednesday. How you guys doing? You guys look really good so far in the chat. Master Lay, I haven't seen you in so long. I hope you're
I
doing well.
know. Yeah, I hope you're doing great. It's really nice to see you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Hey, Mianglios. How's it
Hey,
going, buddy?
Yanglios.
Good to see
Thank you,
you.
Kendra, for writing up a topic. We did get anonymous one,
Mm-hmm.
which is really helpful because we're at 0, and today
Not
we didn't have any
anymore.
topics. So
We're not at 0
yeah, not
anymore,
anymore.
man.
That's it. That's the first time we've gone to like 0 in a very, very long time. Years, I think.
Well, we've got a whole bunch in the backlog.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Somewhere.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's that. I forgot. There's that curated hold or something like
Yeah,
that.
we got a whole bunch of them in a backlog that we could do. They're all from like years ago, and
Yeah.
it was like people that wanted to be here for the stream, but then they were never here, or
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
see him. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess we do have some.
we could go through those. It should be fun.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were gonna have to talk about things like what I think about the letter Y and why I believe it's a vowel and not a consonant ever, and why Europe is wrong. I thought we were gonna have to talk about stuff like that, but that's all right.
Don't you ever say the word?
We got something better.
Don't you ever say the word "you"?
Do I ever say the word "you"?
Yeah.
Of course, all the time.
Or yours.
Yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a consonant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a consonant because it's also not a consonant. E, which is that sound. That's a vowel.
Yeah.
E is a vowel.
Right, but that's the letter E.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's not yeah.
We don't judge consonants and vowels by anything but their sound. If it's the sound, it's the sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's two vowels.
Yeah.
E and yeah.
So you
yeah. So you can make the Y sound with an IA or an EA. That's two vowels put together. You can't just be like, oh, two vowels put together is a consonant.
Well,
it's two vowels put together.
You're gonna have to define a consonant.
A consonant is when any part of your tongue or teeth or whatever touch, and the only exception is the letter H and R, but R can touch. But H is a weird one. H doesn't even make sense. It's just a whisper. How do you even spell, "Oh, how are you today?" when the H is constant?
I mean, that works.
Is it just? I don't know.
Good.
I know. It's a bit of a silly debate, and I know that I have no idea how people define consonant or vowel. I just think it's silly that we call Y a vowel when it's a consonant when it's two vowels put together.
Well, it's also it's like the letter in the alphabet that's like a consonant and a vowel.
Yeah, in America we say A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y.
Right.
But in Europe, they say A-E-I-O-U. Y is always a consonant.
Well,
even when it's pronounced
is that what
just
they
like
say
the letter
in
I,
non-English speaking countries?
Yeah, basically. Well, no, no, they say that in Europe, which I guess is not really an English speaking country.
There's a lot of non-English speaking countries in Europe.
Yeah, they say it in England. They say it in England.
All right.
That the letter Y is a consonant and not a vowel.
Well, yeah. England's right about a bunch of stuff, and they're wrong about a bunch of stuff too. So
yeah, just like us, just like all of us,
right? So
just like me. I could be wrong about this. I don't know what a consonant is. I mean, the way I would define it is like pretty much every single consonant. You have something touching in your mouth.
It's a letter that's a non-vowel
coming together. Yeah. Okay. Well defined. I think that's really just what it needs to be because the letter H and the letter R kind of don't fit in.
Yeah. Anyway.
But all the other ones, they touch.
They touch with your tongue or your teeth.
Your tongue touches the roof of your mouth, or your teeth touch, or your tongue touches your teeth, or your back of your tongue touches your throat, or whatever, right?
There's nothing touch when I say shh, and that's two consonants.
Right, but you could put your teeth together for that sound. But you can't.
Yeah, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, it does.
You still do something with your tongue in the back of your mouth. I mean, I can put my teeth together.
Yeah, you
for
really do. When you do the sound.
I can say
Actually, when you do the
vowels with my
sound, you put
teeth
your tongue.
together, just like this,
Yeah.
and I do it when I'm really mad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's
And I
true.
talk like this.
Oh, I'm so angry. Well, yeah. I guess angry talk requires its own set of rules.
Right. That's very
It has
true.
different vowels and consonances, anyways. I mean, oh, what is that letter? I don't know. We don't have it in the English language.
Yeah,
Alphabet.
that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show that we do on Wednesdays. The show that's about you guys, your topics. As Ryan said before and put in the chat, please, if you have a topic, go to don'tworrywednesday.com and hit the submit a topic button. We would love to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. And if we don't have topics, then we'll come up with them.
Like we just did, and
yeah, just like
it
that.
won't be greght. Almost done typing.
It won't be
Kendra,
as
thank
good as what
thank
you guys put in here. So, hey,
Yeah.
August, it's
Well,
good to see you,
won't be
buddy.
nearly as useful.
Yeah. So,
Won't be useful at all, actually.
right. Not in the least.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we are not professional therapists or counselors or anything like that. We are not, doctors, lawyers, policemen, anything. So we can't ever be a substitute for professional advice or professional therapy or counseling. But we do want to do our best to help in any way we possibly can, to walk alongside you in the midst of whatever it is you're going through, or even just to share some time, laugh, make a few jokes, talk about some tough topics. There have been tears shed on this show before. There's been anger. There's been all the emotions, and that was just me. Like, Ryan's pretty even keel.
Oh man, I don't know if that's true. Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably true. I don't know. I don't know.
So yeah, but yeah, we love hanging out with you guys. We love spending this time with you. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. So anyway, once again, if you have a topic, go to don'tworrywednesday.com, click the submit a topic button, and fill out the form. We would be happy to do your topic. As Kendra is putting one in right now and almost done typing, because Kendra's amazing. Thank you, Kendra.
For everybody that wanted to know, including myself, a consonant is a basic speech sound in which the breath is at least partially obstructed, and which can be combined with a vowel to make a syllable.
Like yeah.
Ye doesn't have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to call it the letter.
Yeah.
Are we calling the letter
percussive.
E a consonant?
No. Because
well, then we can't call Y in ya a consonant because it doesn't obstruct the breath. It doesn't extract the breath.
Yes, it does.
Nuh-uh.
When you say yeah, your tongue almost closes within your mouth. Yeah, it almost.
When you say B, like, oh, there's a buzzing bee around here, is that just a full consonant with no vowels? B, it's the same E.
E. No,
there's no getting around it. If that's obstructing
B,
your
B.
B.
I'm not
B.
changing where my tongue is. B. But when I go yeah,
B.
When I say
B.
yeah, it's all, like that's more of a consonant than the H, like you said.
The H, you have the throat obstructing your. I guess.
There's no what's obstructing there.
Like,
I mean, unless you're suffocating or something.
The tongue in your throat, I guess, is. Well, no, I don't know. I don't even know. It's just that you're not moving your. You're not. Your breath isn't obstructed at all at H. H should also be a vowel.
Yeah, I'm impersonating Ariana Grande. Yes, I don't even know what that is, but that's how.
Yeah,
I've not listened to Ariana Grande like ever.
Huh.
Um, yeah,
And what
usually.
happens when you say, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just think that specifically, yeah is just IA. Yeah. It's like the same.
Well, wait, or is it
There's no
EA?
destruction of, there's no, or EA.
It's yeah
There's
if
no,
you're in some other country, but EA if you're in America.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's Japanese. They
yep.
don't have vowels.
Or
I don't
Spanish.
know. I don't know what their ruling is.
Maria,
Maria.
Maria,
Mm-hmm.
Ave Maria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we say Maria, and there's no Y in there, but we still say yeah. Maria.
Yeah,
Maria.
Maria. And we say
Mm-hmm.
Mario without a Y, without
Mm-hmm.
yo in there. You can't say
Yeah,
Mario
Mario.
without yo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe you could make an argument that the y is closer to the roof of your mouth than Mario. You could say Maria, but you could also say mist, which is MYST. You
Yeah,
could also say, yeah. You can say
but
yeah
well,
without having you going
but
yeah. You can
but
go
mist
yeah,
is
yeah.
MIST.
Mist is MYST. If you want to
MIST.
spell it weird, like mystical.
Well, yeah. If you want to spell it
Mystical.
weird.
Mystical.
But mystical is
Yeah.
not a lengthened version of mist.
It
Mist is
really
something
should be
completely different.
mystical, shouldn't it? It should be
Mystical?
mystical.
Mystical.
Mystical. Now it sounds like it's a different language.
No.
Mystical.
If you said mystical, Y would be a consonant. But since it's
There would be,
mystical, Y is
if it
acting
was,
as a vowel
that's the
at that point in time.
that's the problem. If we say mystical, it's consonant, 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 consonant in a row.
Well, what about the word Q? That's like consonant, vowel, 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 vowel.
That's okay by me. It's pronounced Q. It's not pronounced Qewe. And even if it was, Qewe would be consonant, vowel, 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 vowel. Vowel.
It'd be way fun
Kuewe.
to say Kuewe.
Yeah, one of them that's
Kuewe.
fun is, what is it? Quinoa?
Oh
Quinoa?
yes, yeah, quinoa. Q
Yeah,
I
that's a,
is it QUINOA?
yeah, I think that's right.
Quin,
Quinoa. Yeah,
but it's
quinoa.
quinoa.
That's right.
The U is
Uh-huh.
silent, like a lot of times.
Quinoa. That's so great. Okay, guys.
Yes. All right.
We should do a topic.
Yeah, we're gonna do a topic. We got this
Yeah.
one. We got this one about imposter syndrome. So we're gonna do this. The new BSS hit. Consonant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, consonant, yeah.
Yep. But it could be like a play on words, and then like the whole song would just be yeah, 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 and it'd be constant yeah.
Oh no. Constant.
Constant
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna do this topic. This is from Anonymous. This is about imposter syndrome. And yeah, let me get it up on the screen here for you guys so you can read it along. It's really long. Oh my gosh, you're not even gonna believe it. But here we go. So yeah, this is from Anonymous called Imposter Syndrome, and it simply reads, "How do I deal with imposter syndrome? How do I deal with imposter syndrome?" And so it's a really good question. You know, it's something that I don't know how many of you have ever dealt with imposter syndrome or lived with imposter syndrome. I certainly have. It's you know, honestly, it's kind of an ongoing struggle. And you know, keeping it at bay is not necessarily all that easy, but it's funny, you know, when you look up imposter syndrome, I had to look it up to make sure I knew. I didn't want, you know, I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what it was I was talking about. And it's, you know, basically feeling like a fake or a phony despite having lots of achievements or successes or whatever. You know, a person with imposter syndrome will like chalk it up to just luck or being in the right place at the right time or somebody else or whatever. And yeah, I definitely understand the struggle because it's been something that I've learned to have over the years. And fighting it back is definitely not easy, but they say you should talk to a mental health professional or have some good friends around you. We are definitely not mental health professionals, but we can be your friends, and we can, we can help and tell you that you're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't carry as much weight. Like if I tell you you're awesome, even if I tell you you're awesome like 10 times, if you are
Yeah.
constantly telling yourself that you suck, then your own voice is going to outweigh mine, right? And so having some positive self-talk is going to help, and you can even just read it and whatever. But I don't know. There are definitely a few things that I could probably shed some light on in this. As the old saying, if a possum,
Hey, Jono.
how does it go? What's up, Jono? Um, if a possum, how does it go? Uh, I'm confused.
Is it possum or opossum? Are those two different things?
They're the same, but sometimes they spell it with an O. Oh,
Oh,
I thought you said the saying was if a possum, how does it go? I thought that
I
was the
thought that was
saying.
the thing too. As the old saying goes, if a possum, how does it go?
I kind of like
That
that
was the
saying.
saying. Yeah, that's a good saying. I like it.
If a possum,
I don't know what
always
it
a
means, but I
possum.
like it. Mm-hmm.
If it looks like a possum and quacks like a possum, it must be a possum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it has something to do with the fact that possums pretend to be dead. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe. Hey, Kendra, thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you for the topic. Yeah, we will
Mm.
we'll jump on to that one after we finish up this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
I'm gonna be. Yeah.
If a possum, how does it go? That's the old saying.
It's quite old.
But all right, well, I'm going to turn this over to Ryan, and I don't know if this has been a challenge for Ryan throughout his life. Possibly, like when you were younger. Did you deal with this?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I've dealt with it in different parts of my life, but yeah, I'll give it my
Mm-hmm.
best.
Okay. Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ryan is the best. So you should listen to him. And
Oh, well,
he
thank
looks
you.
great too. I'm gonna do a close up. Look at that
That's the
guy.
way I did my ears. That's the way I
Mm.
did my ears today. You can't see them,
Yeah.
but
Look at those.
it makes me look
Look
good.
at those ears under
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
headphones that you can't see. You did good.
That's right.
Did a good job with your ears.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, imposter syndrome is interesting. And I think there are parts of my life that I had it, but it was done away with because partially because of my brother. Because my brother is a very logical person, and reality means reality. And so I remember having an issue, sort of, along the lines of imposter syndrome. I don't remember how the dialogue went or anything, but I seem to remember that he was like, Ryan, you're kidding, right? Like, blah blah blah, and he would just go off on me and praise me in the most like direct, like kind of like condescending way possible, but like
Well, that's
telling
because
me that I'm awesome
yeah. Well, and
because
he's
it's like
honest and logical, and
mhm,
yeah.
he's honest and logical, and he's like you know this is blah 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 and blah blah blah, right? Like don't be ridiculous. The reality is you've done this, that, the other thing. You have no reason to feel that way. And unfortunately, I can't be that for you. I can help you maybe tell yourself that. I think that's kind of what sticks in my mind. Um, Sometimes we feel certain ways, and we just kind of have to not deal with it, and instead look at reality and say, you know what, this is what I actually did. Whether this is good enough or not, whether this is whether this is up to par or not, it is what it is. I can ask nothing more. I can say nothing more about it because I can do nothing more about it. And
Mhm.
sometimes we have to have that sort of attitude. That's the way I feel like I have to have that. I have to have that attitude a lot recently because my brain doesn't function correctly on most days, and so I can't get as much done as I want to get done. And so maybe that's, it gives leeway to feeling like, well, I haven't done anything, even if I have. I can just feel like, oh, today was a crappy day, I didn't do anything, blah, 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 blah. And it can be true. Like, yeah, I didn't get much done today. But at the same time, I have to be humble in my approach. I have to say, I have to be, say like, I can only do what I can only do. I'm currently experiencing these things. This is, it has to be this way, and it's fine. It's okay. So my accomplishments, my achievements, and underselling them or overselling them, all of that, I think in the end, it's if I'm worried about that, I'm putting the focus on the wrong thing. Is kind of where I get to at the end of all of this. If my focus is on if my focus on what I've done throughout the day or have achieved in my life or whatever, maybe I've done a lot of great things and I cast it aside, or maybe I haven't done many great things and other people think I have, but I know that I haven't, right? Things like that. Regardless, at the end of the day, if that's my focus, if that's my thoughts, if those are the things that I'm thinking about, and it's sort of consuming me, it means I'm putting the focus on the wrong thing. And the reason I say that, let me give you an example. If I'm washing the dishes and I get done washing the dishes and someone's like, oh, wow, hey, thanks for doing the dishes. I might say, well, yeah, but I didn't do it very fast. It took me like 3 hours. It should have taken me like 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why am I focused on that? Because I'm worried about the time that it took. I'm worried about my performance. I'm worried about whatever. I shouldn't be worried about those things. Why? Because the dishes are done. What should I actually be saying to myself? I got the dishes done. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're done. That's all that matters. They're done. Doesn't matter how efficiently I did them or if what I did was great or just a mundane sort of task. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the first step, is just realizing what's the reality. Okay, I did it. And then what does it matter what I think about it? Okay, so if you can, here's where this part comes in. It does matter what you think about it, but only to a certain extent. If you can use it, great. If you can't, then just lose it. Use it or lose it, right?
Mm.
So if you have the mentality of like, oh, well, I didn't do this very fast, but your thought is next, how can I improve this? How can I do it faster? What kind of systems could I put in place? Maybe I need like a different bucket size or something. And then you start employing that, you're using it, right? You're using your thoughts and you're using it to improve. If your thoughts are just, oh, I didn't do that great, I'm just whatever, and it doesn't, and you don't utilize those thoughts, then there's no reason to have them because they're not building you up. They're only setting you back. They're only making you feel worse about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And feeling worse about yourself means you're going to be less productive. It's just the way things tend to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say my first things I want to say on this topic are, if you have imposter syndrome, chances are the best way to solve it is to stop. Sorry, my brain is not working right now very well.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to solve it is to stop focusing on the imposter syndrome. Okay? Stop, because it's a focus thing. It's a focus game. It's what are you focused on? You're focused on how well you did. Maybe other people are saying, oh, you did such a great job, but you just don't believe that you did. Well, what's the reality? Did you do it or did you not do it? And then it's up to their opinion whether it's great or not. And they can say it's great. They thought it was great. Did you do it out of love? Hey, that's great, because that's great in essence. Did you do it because you wanted to prove that you could? Hey, well you did. You proved that you could. Or maybe you got so far, and hey, that's good too. I think the first step to getting over imposter syndrome is to try to touch base with reality and say, I did what I did. It is done. What's done is done. And not to get caught up in the emotion of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will beat yourself up to no end, and it doesn't do good. It doesn't do any good for you. So if you can utilize it, if you can make it good for you, then it's good. But if your imposter syndrome is just, oh, I did these really great things, but I don't think they're great, and nobody else, or other people might think they're great, but I don't. They're just normal
But
things.
I know the truth because
Everybody,
I'm the one who did it.
yeah, everybody does just normal things, but other people think it's great. Tesla invented an amazing lots of stuff that was really cool and came up with a lot of really cool ideas. All right. Tesla's pretty great. Tesla was just doing Tesla. Tesla was just applying himself in the things that he liked, applying himself in the things that he found interest in. To him, they probably weren't necessarily great. The things that were great to him were the concepts of what they could be if they moved forward, which is why he would continue moving forward. But every step along the way for him, it was just like, oh, I'm just doing another thing. It's just normal stuff. It's all just normal stuff, mostly. If I write a song and it could be a song that has a lot of success, I could write the same song twice, and one of them could have a lot of success, and one of them could have no success. Right? And people would be like, oh, wow, this song is great because of the success it had. And it's like, it's the same as the other song. And that's not to downplay necessarily everything, right? My point isn't necessarily to downplay everything. My point is to help you see that everybody, if you look at other people and you think they're doing great, it's because they are. But to them, what they're doing is probably just rather normal. And so when you think you're doing something rather normal and mundane and not so great, but other people praise you, you're probably doing something pretty great, even if it feels rather normal. And that's kind of how we see things. And it's important to know that, because that's a lot of people's issues. Is they look at their own stuff and they say, yeah, it's just normal. It's easy peasy stuff. It's nothing extraordinary. It's nothing great, and the reality is it's great to other people. Why? Because you look at other people and you see them doing great things, and what they're doing is actually just normal. Because this sort of greatness is not, it's either you ground it in reality or you ground it in opinion. And either way, it can be great. It can be awesome that they did that. Or that they are the way they are. It could be their personality, and it could be their little virtues that they have that maybe they worked on, or maybe they didn't have to. Maybe they were born with them, But one way or another, there's a lot of greatness in the world. Everything in this world that builds on anything is pretty much great. Because if you leave anything alone for long enough, it will decay into nothingness. The fact that we have somethingness is pretty great. And the fact that we continue to build on it every day with little amounts, that's pretty significant. That's huge. That's amazing. That's great. That's a miracle. So the things that you're doing in this world are little miracles in a way. So it's all normal to you. And it's like, oh yeah, well, everybody does this, so it is normal. It's like, okay, but it's still great. We probably should keep doing them, right? Because if we stop, that whole field and foundation will fall, and we'll not have it anymore, right? So these little normal things are pretty great. Whether it be, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be just like the fact that we cook food. It's like, hey, you did a great job on your food today. You're like, yeah, it's just a food, it's all right. Not the best thing I've ever eaten, but it's still good. It's like, okay, yeah, give up
the food.
Yeah, I get the food. Yeah, okay, give up cooking food. Let everybody in the world give up cooking food. Now what are we gonna have? We're gonna have no food.
Yeah,
that's
we are.
Cooked.
We're gonna have sandwiches.
I said no food that's cooked.
Oh.
We will have sandwiches. We will have cooked sandwiches, which are better. I love cooked
true,
sandwiches.
like a grilled cheese or something.
Yum. Okay. Anyways,
I want to.
So if we all just give up on cooking, cooking is cheese sandwich, just a cheese, like just a wedge of cheese between two pieces of cheese.
Yeah, grill that and try. Yeah,
grill that, man. Hey, it could work out. Steak tartare. You know what? Does that count as cooked? The acids from the I think you put lemon for steak tartare. The acids from the vinegar or the lemon, whatever is used, technically cause changes to the structure that make it kind of like it's cooked. But does it count as cooking when you're not applying any heat? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Saule, because
Yeah, that's a good question.
scientifically, I think scientific, like chemically, it does alter the state of the proteins. But
They cure it
yeah,
like ham.
so I think it's salt and acid, right, for tartar. So here's the weird thing: when I heard steak tartar, I was like, oh,
Steak with tartar sauce.
yeah, no, I wasn't thinking tartar sauce, which was my second thought.
Ah,
Well, I heard someone recently say steak tartare, and I was like, "Oh yeah, oh that's interesting because tartar, like from tartaric acid, right?
mm,
Like is what we use in cooking sometimes, like in snickerdoodles."
mm.
And I was like, "Okay, so the acid they probably use tartaric acid in steak tartare," and they're like, "No." I was like, "Oh, is it with tartar sauce then?" No,
Still no.
it's raw meat
It's
cooked in acid.
yeah. Raw meat cooked in
Oh,
acid.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be tartaric acid. Anyways, tartar sauce goes
Right,
hard.
Jono? You are
Why
right.
is there no
I,
tartaric acid in tartar sauce? There
I
needs
don't
to be.
know, but tartar
There
sauce is
should be.
so good.
Tartar sauce is good. I haven't had tartar sauce in a long while. Anyways, back to the topic. Yeah, that's my best I've got for you for imposter syndrome. Um, you believe what you believe, but that doesn't make it reality. And you believe great things about others. You have to see that about yourself sometimes. Um, because you can't just judge yourself different than everybody else. That's not very, I mean, you can, but it doesn't lead to good ends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's this, like, I think humility is a really good virtue here for imposter syndrome, but I'm sure there's other ones that could definitely apply. But anyhow, that's what I've got, and I'm gonna give it over to Joe.
You're gonna give
See
it
what
to
he's got
me.
to add. Mm-hmm.
All right, I will. I will add some stuff. Jono, yes, I agree. Tartar sauce is super good. The garlic
Yes,
bread of
many minotaurs are.
sauces. Does that mean that garlic bread is like the only bread?
It's the
I mean,
garlic bread of
I
sauces.
like garlic bread. Maybe just you really like garlic bread.
Yeah,
You also heard many minotaurs are
yeah,
allergic to it, so it's good for self defense.
that's right. Thanks.
Perfect.
Is that Toby Turner? Was that Toby Turner
Who's Toby
who gave
Turner?
that? Tobuscus. Tobuscus. Yep,
Dabuscus.
there it is. I was right. That his name is Toby Turner, but yeah, Tobuscus.
Yes. Well, I do like tartar
Wow,
sauce. I think
callback.
it's funny because I think I used to make it. And I think in the restaurant. I think it's basically just like mayonnaise and relish,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's
but
right.
it's so good.
It's great. There's nothing wrong with it, man. You got the like the pickly acids and the
Yeah.
vinegar, so it's great. And you
Mm-hmm.
got the sweetness from the relish. It's good.
Yeah, with like fried fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, and tartar sauce. Sounds so good. And a grilled cheese sandwich.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, fish and chips, man. Fish and chips is the bomb. Um, all right. Boy,
So
that's an old statement. The bomb.
that's
There's the
that.
whip.
Mm-hmm.
That's even older. The whip. Man, that's the whip.
That's the whip. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. That's even older. That's cool.
I know.
We still use that one.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's timeless. Cool is timeless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to get distracted here from the topic, but I wanted to go on about fish and chips, but I won't.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fish and chips are good. And to be honest, the people who know how to make fish and chips the best are Catholics because every Friday during Lent, Catholics make the best fried
We
fish.
get really good at it.
Dude, so good. You go to a bunch of Catholic fish
Then we
fries,
wait a
man.
year.
They're so good. Oh my gosh. All right. So we got some stuff in the chat. From Kendra. Kendra says the way my mom helped me, um, with imposter syndrome is that those thoughts are from the devil. He wants you at your lowest so you don't think to look to God. I've slowly learned that we go at our own pace. And it's true. Like, I mean, there's a reason the devil is called the accuser, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and
Yep.
those are thoughts that seem to originate within us. And sometimes they do. Sometimes what happens is we get these accusing thoughts, from external sources, whether it's in a spiritual battle or from people around us. And then we internalize them and we repeat them to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so then as we repeat those over and over and over and over and over again, we believe them, and then we start to live them, and it becomes a big problem. And it can be very, very defeating. And then, like Ryan was talking about, we're not very productive when we're very self-defeated.
Yeah, we're not.
So it's hard to get stuff done, and then that feeds into this syndrome even more, because then it's just like, well, I'm not even accomplishing anything. Look at how much I suck. And and it just perpetuates and perpetuates and perpetuates. Salale says, having felt both, I think that imposter syndrome and narcissism are basically two extremes of the same scale. Humility is the third point of the triangle that recognizes self-value and capabilities. And I think you're right.
Yeah.
In a way, there are kind of two different definitions of narcissism. There's narcissism as it appears to, like, just this over self-aggrandizement. And then there's narcissism as a psychological condition that's lumped in with being a psychopath or a sociopath. And one key element in a narcissist in that role is in that definition, I should say, is a lack of empathy. But it comes across very narcissistically in this self-aggrandizing kind of way. There's a huge amount of self-focus and a lack of empathy, and that is it's the condition it's gained a lot of popularity in the recent past. But yeah, I think you're right that like they're kind of two, with narcissism being like this overly inflated view of self, and imposter syndrome being this overly deflated view of self. Yes, they're kind of two opposite sides of the spectrum. And humility does draw that line well. Kendra then again says, everyone has their own speed and talent on what they can do. God's plan for you is different. The way my brother learns is different from others, but he still learns even if it's a little slower. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all at our own pace doing our own thing. And then Saule. I should have read these. I read them in order because I'm not thinking right, but I should have read like Kendra's 2 and then Saule's 2 because they kind of go together. Whoops. I'm sorry, guys. But Saule says, getting to that third point is not very easy. I often swing around between the three. When I achieve humility the best is when I'm deeply focused on a project I understand. To overcome these things, I have to be working on something. If I'm idle, I'll fall into one pit or the other. And yep, I can totally relate to that. I'm also a very task-oriented person. And so when I'm at work, like not necessarily at my workplace, but when I'm doing work, that's when a lot of these voices start to quiet down, and I can focus and I can get things done. And then I also have, depending on the work that I'm doing, if I can go through and accomplish a whole bunch of stuff and I can see visually that I accomplished that stuff, that can really give me a little bit of a boost and be like, you know what? I did do something. I am worth something. I am valuable in some way because look at what I just accomplished. And that can be really, really helpful. So there's a few things that I've learned as far as helping to cope with imposter syndrome or live with it or to get past it and heal from it. Positive self-talk is one way, but you got to be able to believe it. So a lot of times people would be like, oh yeah, just fake it till you make it. And I hate that. Because if I'm faking it, I don't believe myself.
You're faking.
Huh?
Yeah. You're faking.
Right, exactly. I know I'm faking. So, it's crazy, but if So I have to find something that I can be honest with myself about. And there is stuff in our lives that we've done well. It's just that we discount those things. We don't count them sometimes. We don't even acknowledge them. We just, we talk to ourselves about how bad we are, and we end up feeling worse about ourselves, and then we do less and we end up feeling worse and worse, and it becomes this downward spiral. But if we can insert some honest self-talk that's good, like Ryan, what was the example you used, Ryan? Like, I did the dishes.
Yeah, sure.
I accomplished something. Look, I did the dishes. Yesterday I was at work at the cabinet shop and made a whole bunch of drawer boxes. Like when you have a drawer and in the drawer is it's like this box with a cover on it, and you pull this box out of your
Essentially,
cabinet,
yeah.
right? So like those boxes,
Essentially
basically a whole bunch of different of those. I had to make 25 of them, and there are 4 sides to each. So what's that? That's 100 panels, right? Dovetail them all, put grooves in them all, do all that stuff, and took me like the whole day to do it. But at the end, I had this huge pile of drawer box sides, and I was able to look at that and be like, you know what? I actually accomplished that, and I did a pretty good job because I'm looking at them and they look good. So doggone it, I did something good. And that little bit can boost you. Now, I remember reading a book. I can't remember which one it was. It was either How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling or How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. One of those two. But they talked about putting together a commercial. Like, write a commercial about you that you can read to yourself to sell yourself to yourself. And you look at some of your attributes. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes it takes some help. Sometimes you need a friend or a family member or a therapist or somebody that can help point out some of those good things, because when we're blinded by imposter syndrome and we're blinded by all of our own negative self-talk, we can totally lose sight of any of those good attributes. So sometimes it might take a little bit of help, but I think deep down, if you're honest with yourself, you've done some things good. There's nobody in this world that is 100% evil. Nobody. Everybody has a mixture of good and evil. Some have more good than others. Some have more evil than others, but nobody is 100% on one side of the spectrum or the other. Even Donald Trump, which is funny because I have friends on both sides of that coin too, where it's like,
that's funny because when you said it, I was like, wait, does he mean he's not fully good or fully evil? Because people, yeah, exactly what you're about to say. Yeah, because some people think he's the devil. Some people think he's
I know,
don't
it's
know, I won't say
crazy.
God, but yeah.
You got both sides
Like,
of things,
it's
right?
perfect.
He's a very polarizing individual, right? And so that's why I grabbed that example.
That's a great example.
I could say Hitler, and he did a lot of very, very evil things, but even he wasn't 100% evil. There was good in him as well. It's just that, when you look at the actions that he took, the evil far outweighed the good. For
Also,
what
his
we remember
choices,
him
yeah.
from. Exactly.
He's always potentially capable of both, and had both throughout his life.
Yep. Just like Donald Trump, he's not 100% evil, and he's not 100% good. Either way.
Now we're comparing Donald Trump to Hitler again.
We are, because that seems to be the thing to do.
I thought we were done with that.
That's the thing,
man.
apparently, to do. It's Donald Trump and Hitler, right? Like, but anyway, I'm not trying to get political. I'm just trying to tell you that nobody's 100% evil and nobody's 100% good.
It's so funny.
So knowing that we're a mixture of both good and evil, we can learn how to notice the things that we do well, even if they're little. even if sometimes it's like, man, I get bullied, but you can turn that around and be like, man, I take a beating better than so many people.
That's right.
I'm so resilient.
That's so, man. That's the way I do everything, I think. I just flip it.
You flip it over.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Into a
there's a
positive
positive
way.
in this. I'll find it. Yeah.
Right. Right. Kendra, when you put your clothes away or clean your room, that helps, huh? I like that. And you're right. No one is perfect, only God. Well, I guess you could call saints that are in heaven are probably perfect at this point.
Yeah,
But,
now.
yeah, now they are. They weren't.
Maybe not a perfect track record, but they are perfect now.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. Nobody's perfect. And you're not expected to be. And I hope you don't expect anybody else to be. Because it's funny. A lot of times in the world, people will, they'll give themselves a whole bunch of grace. Like, oh, I'm not perfect. I screw up, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So it's no big deal. And then they'll look at another person and they're like, everything they do is like highly scrutinized. Right? When they look outward. For a person with imposter syndrome, it's like flipped opposite. Where everybody else can do no wrong. Everybody else is doing such a great thing. Everybody else is doing so great. Even if, like what Ryan was talking about, even if it's just normal everyday stuff. But then when we turn those guns on ourselves, we're like, oh, I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at that. Look at how much worse I am than that person at this, and blah, 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 blah. And it's crazy. Sometimes you just gotta like figure out how to celebrate the littlest, tiniest victories and congratulate yourself for them. Especially the deeper you are in this. And if you're deep in imposter syndrome, you're probably struggling with huge amounts of bad self-worth, of low self-worth. But you're probably also experiencing depression. You're probably also experiencing anxiety. You're experiencing these things, and it all kind of goes together. And so if you I remember when I was struggling with really, really deep depression after my divorce, and it was for a long time, it was a real struggle, and I couldn't even hardly get out of bed, and it was so tough. And I remember one day I got up and I went to the store and bought some chips. That's all I did. I got in my car, I drove to the store, I bought some chips, nothing else. And then I came back home and I celebrated that because I had been struggling so much to just even do anything that the very act of just doing that was enough to cause a little bit of a celebration, and I could be proud of myself because I took a step forward. Right? What was this? I don't know how high bug standards are. Might have been perfect for a bug. You saw a cool bug. Nice job. Mosquitoes are the spawn of Satan, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we had some in our room last night, and they kept us, especially my wife, awake. They don't like to feed on me that much. I don't know why, but they really like to bite my wife a lot.
Oh, they were biting, not just buzzing?
No, they were just sucking the blood out of her face.
Oh.
And they don't usually touch the face, but they landed on her face and were like putting holes in her and stuff.
Really?
It's awful.
They touched my face. I mean, I got a huge face. Look, it goes all the way to the back of my neck.
Do they suck the blood out of your face?
Yeah.
Pretty regularly? Oh, okay.
They
always do that on my
face.
arms, my fingers.
It's like they know I don't want to smack myself in the face.
I think that mosquitoes have the ability to, like, we need to learn how to, like, engineer military, like, aircrafts and stuff around mosquitoes, because they, like, you'll be staring at one and it will just go invisible. And you can't find it.
Until you feel it biting your arm.
Until you feel it on you again. Yep. You know? Those things.
Or you hear it because it's buzzing right next to your ear. And they've got the most, it's like an excruciating buzz.
Oh, I know. It's like when you're sleeping and you hear And you're like,
Yes.
you just like pop out of bed. You can't even control yourself. Your whole body flails out of bed, and you're
Yes.
like, whoa. And you're like, and then you go back to sleep, and you're like, whoa. Your whole body shakes,
Yeah.
quakes. It's awful. Those things are awful. I don't like this.
Ryan, when a scary mosquito comes biting like a fiend, will you stand up
Oh
and fight?
man, that's a great
And
a turn of lyrics
so,
for a song that I made.
from this dark,
Dark
dark. Yes.
world full of mosquitoes.
That's why you don't go outside unless it's the 4th of July. The smoke keeps them away. It does, actually.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Awesome.
those things.
So Anonymous with the excuse me.
Chono's just, you're great. The lyrics, they're solid. I see it. That's something what that song's about.
Well done. Yeah, so I think one of the answers for you, I'm pretty much done with what I have to say, but like if you can figure out how to incorporate some self-talk, learn how to notice some of your victories, even the smallest ones. The smallest ones. Like, you know what? I didn't pee my pants today.
Victory.
I could have.
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory, like, or whatever it could be. But then even just those little things can start to build a track record of positive self-talk that can be a really great antidote for some of this. And another thing I've noticed is that if you can learn how to smile, like genuinely, not fake. Don't smile like a politician, because they all smile fake. You learn how to smile with your whole being, your smile that starts from your stomach, and you just feel this smile come up out of you. If you can figure out how to do that, it's very hard to hold a defeating thought in your head when you're physically smiling, an actual smile, right? So you can do things to help you smile. You can do things that might help you laugh. These things can bring a positive emotion into you that can help then overshadow the negative self-talk. Because, like I said, you can't, it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to have a negative thought while you're doing a positive, bodily thing, like whether it's laughing or smiling or whatever. So,
yeah,
face maneuver.
That's a good
yes.
one, yes.
Followed by a real face maneuver.
That's right. Face maneuvers. Smile is a face maneuver.
Yep. So anyway, that's what I got. Ryan, did you have anything else about this?
To be honest, I don't think I have much. I mean, Sauli, I think you're right on track with, I don't want to sit here and like point out like, oh, this is your advice, but I'm going to, because I think it's helpful, because if you can figure out what's going wrong, then you can kind of steer yourself right. And pride is the issue. You are too, like, pride is being, well, pride is the opposite of humility, right? Pride, we kind of know what pride is, but a lot of times when we think of pride, we're like, oh, people who are full of themselves, egotistical. But people who are selfish, yes, they're prideful, but people who are selfless are also prideful. It's a matter of pride. It's one coin. And to get to humility, I think, is how you're going to solve your problems with imposter syndrome. So I would encourage you to attempt to look up humility, try to find good resources, and maybe pursue that. Now, I don't think necessarily all resources are going to be equally good, but you might find some movement there. If the humility seems to lean towards selflessness, it isn't true humility, right? Because selflessness is not a good thing for us. So we have to kind of put away that our value is dependent. We have to fully put away that our value is dependent upon how good or how much or whatever we do. And that's hard. Because it's constantly in our culture, it's constantly in our minds, it's constantly, it's just kind of a part of us to some degree. So you have to put that away though, because what you do doesn't determine how valuable you are. And even when you think you're not doing that, sometimes we are. Even when we think, oh, it's like you think the very remedial task of saying, well, I didn't do a very good job at that, right? And you're just kind of beating yourself up a little bit. Like, even though maybe you got it done, but you're just not proud of it or whatever. Even that little thing can be you putting value on yourself, or you putting value on the thing that you did without needing to, or without, like, you're not trying. I think humility is playing the game with there's no negative in a way. Like, everything should build. Everything builds on itself. If it doesn't, it's abyss. It's the abyss. It doesn't add anything. And it doesn't subtract either. I mean, we could say like evil subtracts, but really it just lowers the good. I think the world is built on, we got a 0 to 100, okay? And maybe we're sitting at like somewhere like 30, okay? And when evil comes into this picture, when pride comes into the picture, when we're mean to ourselves, we subtract from the good, right? But you can never go negative because 0 is the base. So it goes up to 100. Let's say we're at 30 and we're mean to ourselves. We just kind of subtract from the good that we could have done instead. But if we choose to add, we go up to like 31, 32, 33, right? And so when you look at the world from that perspective, it really helps set your mind towards more of a approach that looks at things to build the good. It looks at things to love them. It looks at things to actually create better, more thriving life out of. And better self-talk, better talking to others, better relationships. Why? Because we're focused on the sum of the goods rather than focused on, well, how bad did I do? How bad did that person do? Right? I think a common problem with pride and also, what do you call that? Envy, is we focus on the bad of others. And that's really bad. It's really bad to do that. And I do that sometimes, right? And that's not great. I don't like that I do that. And when I find myself that I've done that, I'm like, okay, I need to fix that. I need to repent, and I need to like be sincere about, no, I should be thinking well of that person instead. I should be thinking like, sure, they're not adding a lot of good to the world, but they're still adding something for sure. For sure, they're adding something. And so, yes, there are things that we need, like there are true evils that in the world that we need to stop. I mean, Hitler is a great example, but I think in general, we're adding good. It's just how much good are we adding? But whatever you're doing, it's good. And that's the important part. That's really all that matters. It doesn't matter how much, because it's kind of all negligible when you have millions of good going on at the same time. So it's just that it is good. So I think focus on the fact that what you're doing is good. Don't play a game where you can go into the negative. Everything is just good or it's not good, and you're building that goodness up. And you're going to, if you kind of take that view, you're going to get closer, hopefully closer to finding your way in that, to narrow your path down into something that's more humble approach of looking at life, rather than something that could be prideful, which is selflessness. When you degrade yourself, don't, like, there's no reason to degrade yourself. Like, it's not, obviously that's not good. It's not good to degrade others. It's not good to just take something and tear it apart for no good reason. So, I mean, it can be useful to tear something apart when it's right. There are times, but when it's not for something that leads to good, then it's not a good time. to do that, right? As simple as that. If it's not good, then it's not good. That's the bottom line. And it's like what you did was good. The way you reacted was not good, right?
Mm.
It's like what I did was good, but the way I feel about it, not good. Okay, so how do we deal with that? Okay, focus on the good. Move towards the good. Re-edify the good. State things in your mind like, what I did was good. It is a good thing. I added to the world. It might be small, but I added to the world. It's a good thing. I added goodness. And if that's all you can say, then that's all you should say. You know, you don't have to go the extra mile necessarily if you can't think of other things to say to yourself, like, and I did it in this time too, and I did it faster than last time, and this time I made sure to correct my, like my little scratches on the surface. This time I sanded it down better. You know, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on. Just to bring it into woodworking, because Joe was talking about that earlier. But that's what I have to say. Like, don't. I don't know what it's called, but play the zero sum game. Play the game where you're adding. Okay, just try to add. And when something is not good, like to your standards, you don't subtract, because that's not. Nothingness does not reduce. Like 0 plus 4 is not negative anything. It doesn't go less than 4. 0 plus 4 is not 3. 0 is just a 0. You're only adding. Don't subtract, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. When you're thinking about life, when you're going through life, when you're doing your things and you're seeing your imposter syndrome show up, add. And if something's a 0, call it a 0. But nothing's a negative. So, and sometimes it's going to be like, well, it could be a negative, but I could turn it into a positive. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. But that's adding. That's fine, right? As long as you're adding, that's fine. But the way I see it, there's no negative. It's just abyss. It's just the abyss is what we call the negative, right? But it's not really negative. It's just 0. And so you're adding 0, which is still like the number you are already at. So I would suggest playing yourself that way. Is it a perfect way to live life? Probably not. But it will help you, at least in the meantime, to sort of guide yourself and get yourself on the right track to seeing and speaking positively to yourself. Because if you get rid of the idea of negative and it's only zeros, it really helps to just kind of focus back on the positive and say, okay, well, that doesn't change anything. It's like, oh no, I didn't do this very well. Oh, well, that doesn't change anything. Just, what can I do? Right? Mm-hmm. That's all that really matters, right? So that's what I'm trying to ask you that's the game I'm trying to ask you to play. You see something you don't like, you can say, well, that doesn't add to anything. That doesn't change anything. So I don't have to focus on that. Or maybe I do need to focus on that, but I'm going to make it better. You know? Mm-hmm. So either one of those two options. Either I don't have to focus on it because it is what it is, and it's just like, it is what it is, and I can't make it better. So I'm going to go elsewhere and make something else better. Or it is what it is, but I can make it better. So I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And if you keep with that track, your mind will slowly over time create the habit of always leaning in towards the positive. And when you speak to yourself, that will come through. And I think that's my best advice for you. That's the game that I would recommend you to try to play, at least for a time, and see how it goes. Like a month at least. And then when you're done with the game, you could throw it away, I suppose, if you didn't find any success with it. If you're done with the game and you found success with it, but know that there's something even better out there, go for that. So that's what I've got.
Nice. Well, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Anonymous, for the topic.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you found some of that to be helpful and beneficial, and hopefully you can put some of that into practice. And if you're stuck in imposter syndrome, you can find your way out. And that would be very good. Because really, no matter what we accomplish or what happens to us, it really doesn't change your value. That's one thing that I struggle with all the time. And, I have to remind myself of that. No matter what happens to me, no matter what another person does to me or whatever, like it doesn't change my inherent value. even if I go and I don't accomplish anything. If I go and I try and I miss everything, I miss every deadline, I don't get anything done, whatever, it doesn't change my value. And I have to remind myself of that, and it makes me upset sometimes. because I get stuck in this. I get stuck in all of these traps. All these traps that we're talking about how you can get out of, I've been stuck in them.
Get stuck in all of them. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we all do.
And it makes me mad because I think I got a lockdown on this stuff, and then somebody does something, and then I get all frustrated, and then I'm back in imposter syndrome. And I might not have even been the person that did anything. It could have been somebody else did something to me. And then now I'm stuck. And, it happens because it's so easy for us to lose sight of this stuff. I'm guessing, Ryan, are you processing that topic?
Yeah, I'm about to, yeah.
Cool, good. So I'll just keep yammering away while you
go
do
for
that. Yeah. So, yes. Kendra, that's very true. When you degrade yourself, you're insulting God's creation, a.k.a. you. You are God's creation. It's very true. So don't do it. Even though I feel like such a hypocrite saying that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so good at degrading myself. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, well, that's normal. Yeah, right.
But yes. So thank you, Anonymous. And as Saole so graciously put in the chat, we are not professionals. The information we give is not a substitute for professional advice. We're just trying to give back and support you as you support us. If you have a topic, if you'd like us to send your concern, type it out in chat or on our website, www.don'tworrywednesday.com, and we would be happy to do your topic. And again, we are in need of topics. If you have something you'd like us to send, if you have something you'd like to send to us, please do. We'd love to do your topic. Ryan's currently processing one that came in from Kendra. Thank you, Kendra. And so we'll be getting to that one in just a moment here.
All right.
Any hot topics or cold topics?
Ooh, cold topics. It's getting colder here in Australia now. And, oh, wait, I forgot to change the name and so on. Hold on.
You're going to sleep. You take care too, buddy. It's great seeing you. I hope to talk to you
Yeah, nice
soon.
to see you, John.
I want to go to sleep. That would be that's what I'm looking forward to today. I didn't sleep much yesterday. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't sleep much either.
But we've been working, man.
Oh, yeah. That's
crazy. Crazy, lots of work. It's so funny because, like, I almost, my son had a basketball tournament this past weekend. And so we were over by Detroit, which is crazy. If you ever have to drive over by Detroit, it's so dumb. It's the worst. But anyway, so we go over there for this basketball tournament, and I was just talking to one of the other dads that, like from another kid that was on my son's team. And we're talking, and I think I sold him a kitchen full of cabinets while we were at the basketball tournament. I was like, dang, I'm a good businessman. Look at me go.
Yeah. You are a good businessman.
Well, I try. I've learned. And, business is just all about people. I remember talking to a guy that he was like a huge district manager for a chain of grocery stores that I had worked at. And I was talking to him, I'm like, Dave, you really are a fantastic human engineer. Like, I watched him interact with everybody from the managers of the store to the lowest, newest, grocery bagger guy, and from no matter who he was talking to. He made you feel like $1,000,000. He made you feel important. He made you feel paid attention to. And it was
That's
just
good.
great. And I was like, man, you're so good at it. And he said, well, that's what business is all about. And in fact, that's kind of what life's all about too, because we're here to coexist. And so why would you not breathe life into other people? And I thought that was really, really awesome. I'm like, man, you're such a great example. And but those are the kinds of things, that's what makes business go well. You still have to be shrewd.
That's true.
You still have to, mind your P's and Q's. You can't just give away the store. There's got to be a fair price, fair compensation for a fair product. All that same stuff has to be a win-win for everybody. But at the same time, you can do all that. If you can do all that with good people skills, you win. And with, everybody comes away from the transaction feeling good. Everybody feels important.
Yeah,
Those are things that
that's
are
right.
just really good. So,
Okay,
you good?
nice. Yep, we've got him. We've got him in there.
Hey, look at that.
I don't know what happened, but my topics, my teams in the middle of the session closed and reopened, and now I can't see. Like I can see the host, and in order to get to the other thing, like the to be processed in Teams,
Uh-huh.
it's like extra clicking. It's hidden. I don't know
Oh,
why. It's just suddenly all of that is looks different than before.
okay.
It's distracting.
Well, we have this topic from Kendra. It's an urgent one. So you can't read the topics anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Um, no, I can. I can.
Okay. Cool. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this topic on the screen. You guys can read along while I read it out loud. This is called Boss is Selling the Business.
Yeah, I
And
think I hope I got this right, Kendra. I read it really fast, and hopefully I understood what was going on there.
okay. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here looks like. So all right, I'm going to put it up on the screen. You guys can read along with me. So this comes from Kendra, and it reads like follows. Hello, everyone. Hope you all have been well. It's been a while since I posted anything, and that is because I've been busy and much is changing. I've been working 3 jobs, one of which has been substitute teaching, and another job is one I've been working at since I was 14. I am now 28. Soon I will no longer have this job. The place that I have worked at since I was 14 is called Eats and Treats. Think Dairy Queen, but 10 times better at a family restaurant. And it
That's
has
cute.
been the most fun job ever. However, my boss, Grandma Joyce, is retiring and selling the business by the end of August this year. She isn't really my grandma, but she adopted all of us that have ever worked there as her grandchildren. In a way, I am sad, but I am happy that she is retiring and going to be able to rest. We have become family, and we will always be family. Speaking of family, my youngest brother is turning 18 tomorrow and will be a senior in high school next year, and I just can't believe it. He has struggled a lot since he is on the autism spectrum. He plans on running his own YouTube gaming channel and Twitch channel, with my help, of course. My parents have told me that if this is what he wants to do, then I will have to be his manager and make sure things work right, since they don't know anything about computers and gaming and the like. I myself
Hmm.
have started to get back into recording and writing for my YouTube channel. After Grandpa passed away back in October of 2024, and my cat Critter passing away in January of 2025, I lost the motivation to make anything. Now I am in a better headspace to be able to create stuff like this. Also, during this Lenten season, I have started wearing a veil to Mass. I just felt this call to start covering my head when I go to church and sing. And you don't see many women wearing veils on their head at my church. Last Saturday Mass, I had a lady come up to me to tell me thank you for singing and that she liked my veil I was wearing and that she plans to wear her veil next time she goes to church. Anyway, that is enough from me. This has gone on long enough. That is everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you all for listening. God bless you all. Kendra.
Hmm.
So thank you, Kendra. Yeah, you've
I
definitely
put
got a lot going on in here.
I put in
Huh?
the topic summary, job is going away, time to move into a new one, but probably shouldn't say that because it seems like you've already got yourself packed with several jobs
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, and you have
potentially
it.
more avenues on the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I'll put it in there anyway.
Yeah, well, I was just say don't.
Or leave it. Should I
But all
leave it
right.
up? All
I don't
right.
know, maybe you can
I'll
come up with a
turn it
better
up,
topic
or maybe
separate.
I'll turn it on, or maybe I'll turn it off.
Yeah, maybe
I'll come
since
up
we've
with
now read
something
it fully.
when
Yeah.
you're talking or something. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, that sounds great.
But anyway, Kendra, that is a lot going on. You know, life gets crazy, and you're almost
Hmm.
not going to be in your 20s anymore, which is a huge
Wow.
step. Like I still am 29, so I've never left.
Yeah, it's a big step. It really is a big step, especially for Joe.
Yeah. But yeah, but I also understand working three jobs. That gets crazy. First, man,
Yeah.
I was working two jobs when I started my inspections business way back in 2012. And for a couple years, I worked three jobs. Maybe about for a year, I worked three jobs. And it was so, trying to keep all that straight and get all of that done was crazy.
Insanity.
Mm-hmm. So, but it sounds like I'm really happy that you're going to be helping your brother as well with the YouTube and Twitch channel. I think that's so great. And I also appreciate that your parents um, are appreciating that that can be a career path for him. Like that's what he wants to
Mm.
do, and they're honoring that that's a career path, and they're saying, hey, you know, you can help him. You know, because there's a lot of parents out there, and there's a lot of people out there that don't look at that as a legitimate career, when it totally can be. It's just not a traditional job, right?
Hmm.
It ends up being self-employment. But we're getting more and more into that realm anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so Kendra, I'm proud of you. I think you're awesome, and I'm gonna turn this over to Ryan, and I'm gonna see what he has to say about all this.
Yeah.
So Ryan, it is all yours, buddy.
Kendra, Kendra, this is a lot of stuff, and thank you for posting this topic, and thank you for sharing your life with us. Thanks for always coming to so many Don't Worry always. Thanks for coming to so many Don't Worry Wednesdays and being with us and sharing your love and presence here with us. It's really great to have you, and it's a wonder that you're able to if you were holding down three jobs, and then also you've got family to attend to or be with, and so on and so forth. So it's yeah, we're very honored that you're here with us. Um, Yeah, this is a lot of different stuff going on, and um, I'm with Joe. I think it's really great that your parents are willing for your younger brother to like pursue something like this. I think that's great, and if you can help them, that's beautiful. Um, but don't stress yourself out. It's a lot of stuff you're doing. So I think part of it is getting your younger brother to figure it out, a bit of it at least for themselves. Maybe show them the way and then let them study that. I know that you said that they are maybe slower learning, but I don't know if this applies. But I think having some a bit of time with it for him to understand it himself and not needing to rely on people will actually only improve his creativity and what he's capable of doing, rather than you becoming a crutch. But I do think you should do your best to help out, obviously, where you can, since making the initial step might be the hardest part. Change tends to be a little bit of a difficult field for those with autism, but not every autism is the same. So I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. And I applaud you for doing that, for putting yourself up for that. I think that's really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I read your comment. People said you should buy the eats and treats, and you're like, with what money? What do you? How am I supposed?
Right.
Yeah.
Businesses
When
are
I had read
not
that medicine,
cheap a lot of times, like
yeah, they are not. Yeah. When
I
I
mean,
had
you
first
might
read
be
that
able to get a
message before I even
loan.
got to that part, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. They suggest you buy it, and I was like, do they not know? Okay, well, let's see. Like, how are you gonna afford that? Yeah, a loan. That would be it. you'd have to pull out a loan and hope that you make it back
Mm-hmm.
um, faster than the interest rate, I guess,
Yeah.
and enough to afford it, afford the life of living, so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, working 3 jobs, so that's already a lot. I mean, potentially, if you buy eats and treats, you'll only have one, but there's not a solid chance on that. I don't know the income that eats and treats was making. Um, okay, yeah, your boss got appraised worth
325.
325,000, and
That's
how much?
that's not
Not that you would know
huge
this.
for a business, but
Yeah, that's not too bad. Because well, it's a lot though, right? It would
well, yeah,
obviously be
it's
something
still
you
a lot
pull
of
out a
money.
loan
But
for.
I'm just talking like
You already have student loans. Yeah.
comparatively to other businesses, to all kind of,
Oh yeah. I mean,
you know.
compared to any buying a house in Australia is more than that
Jeez,
just for living in it.
jeez.
So, yeah, the housing market here is destroyed because oh, it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's destroyed. Um, so I think, yeah, I guess, yeah, you could pull out a loan and do that if that was your passion, if you were really interested in seeing where it would go.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't don't even do that on a whim. Don't do that on like, oh, it could work out. That could be cool. That might be interesting. Don't do it. Um,
Yeah, not that much debt.
not unless it's something that, not unless it's something you're willing to put all of your time into.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it's going to require, all of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you'd have to ask them like, okay, how much money does this make? If I pull out a loan for $325,000, what do I expect to? When do I expect to pay that off? And etc. You'd want to get those things figured out with the store owner and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, that is an avenue. That is an actual avenue if you wanted it. Loans are a thing that can happen, and if you can promise them and show them that you can make it back, then the bank will be on board with it. Yeah, you have no idea how much you make. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well,
fixing the ice cream machine. Yeah.
you do need the ice cream machine for an ice cream place, so that's an important piece of equipment to have in your ice cream
It's very,
store. Yes, but to spend
very important piece.
$2,500 to fix it, I mean that's
That's
business.
expected.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally expected. Absolutely. I mean, it's
Yep.
crazy when you own a business where you have equipment and you have stuff like that. It's just like numbers become a lot more arbitrary to you. You're just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like, $5,000,
Yeah.
and you don't even blink. You're just like, okay, well we need it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
brother's
That's right.
business is even crazier. My brother owns a fuel delivery business, and so like I'm talking like millions of dollars pass through their company in like a month.
Wow.
Because they're buying truckloads of fuel, like sometimes more than once a week, and filling up their
Right.
tanks, and then they're delivering it all and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like all this money just passes through them, and like, oh, you own this. Look at fuel prices. These guys are rich, and it's like, no, he's not rich. Just because he has all this money coming in, he's got to spend it all to get his next load, and he's got trucks. He's got multiple trucks he's got to maintain. It's nuts. I mean, yeah, business costs money, for sure.
Yeah. That's right.
Anyway, sorry, Ryan. I totally disrupted you.
That's real. Yeah. No, it's good. No, that's great. That's a great ad. I think it's great. Yeah. Oh, it was the chocolate side of the machine. Could imagine how much it would be if it was the whole machine.
Yeah, you might have to just replace the machine at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, it is a option, but I'm not trying to push it towards you. I'm just letting you know that, yeah, if you want to pull out a loan or something, that could be a potential way to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think, I mean, if you look at most businesses, that's how they got started. If you look at most restaurants, someone pulled out a loan, bought the restaurant, and is making it work. Most restaurants are just that, like almost all of them. Rarely does anyone have the money up front to buy a restaurant and then make it, and then continue from there, right? Everyone pulls out a loan for that.
Or finds an investor.
Not everyone, but a lot of people. Yeah, yeah. Or finds an investor, which is it's kind of a loan.
It is a
It's a
loan, but
type of
you're giving
it's a
this
type of
person.
loan.
It's different though. It's not just a loan because the
Yeah.
investor, by definition, kind of has a stake of some kind of control in your
Mhm.
company. You know,
That's right.
and so they
Yeah.
can kind of tell
Yeah.
you what to do because it's their money on the line. You know, a bank
Mhm.
just wants their money with interest. You know, so
Well, usually though, technically, if you go through a bank and you pull out a loan and you buy a restaurant with it, does that work the same way as like a mortgage?
I
Because
mean,
if it
a
does, then
business loan,
they own your restaurant.
yeah,
They own your restaurant. So
until
like
you
if you
pay it
pull out a
off.
loan, yeah, right. So if you pull out a loan for a bank, they actually own your restaurant completely
Well,
until you pay it off.
it's probably
But
a
it's
little
within
bit different. It's probably a little bit different.
y-
I've
y-
never taken out a business loan before. It's different than a mortgage. Like a mortgage, the
okay,
bank
okay.
owns your house. And
Yes,
for a
that's right.
business loan, a mortgage might be wrapped into that, a mortgage on the building,
Yeah, I imagine it
you
would
know,
be.
or that
Yeah.
might be a separate loan. Who knows? Cuz
Yeah,
like
I think that
property
would
law and
be
business law
separate.
might be different, you know, like all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know all those details,
Yeah.
but
I
man.
don't know, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. We're not here to discuss that.
Sure, sure.
Kendra, I just want to let you know it's in the potentials, but I wouldn't pursue it if you're not interested, like super hardcore interested. Because yeah, that's gonna be a lot. Um, but yeah, it seems like a lot in your life is changing, and it can be really hard when a lot is changing at once. It can be hard when one thing is changing. Um, because it can set us off balance and it can make us on edge. It can make us feel, yeah, feel on edge sometimes. And I would recommend some time for prayer, some asking of the Holy Spirit to guide your attitude. Because when all of these kinds of things are changing at once, and whether we want them to or not, especially some of these are not things you want to change. Some things you're being hired out for without being paid for. For example, with your brother, you're kind of being asked to um, do all this extra stuff on top of your two jobs, and your favorite job is going away, and all of this is happening at once. So I would say you might find yourself a little bit on edge um, with your attitude and the way you respond to people or the things that you're willing to do. You're like, well, I don't want to do that, more than normal. It might be just because all of this is changing at once, and it's kind of in human psychology to get a little reluctant when things are like this are happening. So I would recommend have some pleasantness about you if that's an issue. Have some pleasantness. Have some ask for the Holy Spirit and for them to bestow upon you some good attitude. I tell you that works for me a lot. It really helps everything go smoothly when I do that. If I'm going through big changes or even little changes sometimes, if I pray to the Holy Spirit to give me a little bit of a better attitude, an attitude is that is willing for change, that is accepting of change, is excited for change, that can really set me up for success. It can really put my mind in the right space to just proceed with happiness and pleasantry, regardless of whatever the task at hand might be due to the change. So that's just a little recommendation for you. Um, so that if you face those trials like I do, then there might be a solution in that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what I've got for now. Joe, do you have anything you wanna add?
Sure. I wanted to ask Kendra. Kendra, was there any questions in here that you had? Because I mean, if not,
Mm,
I want to say, hey, I'm really proud of you. I really appreciate that
yeah.
you said, you're in a better headspace to handle a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, because like Ryan was talking about, when we go through changes like that, it can be really, really difficult. Sometimes, especially if we get a whole bunch of sweeping changes or changes in an important area of our life, it can totally knock us off balance for a while. And I've been
Hmm.
knocked off balance many times, right? And but when you can finally turn things back around and get into a better headspace like you're talking about, I think that's really, really awesome, and I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that you are. Um, uh,
Mm. Yeah, kitchen nightmares.
what's that?
Kendra said she's watched Kitchen Nightmares, and the people who buy up a restaurant for nostalgia because they worked there think they can run it, and then they end up ruining
Oh,
it. Yeah, running it into the ground.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's yeah, yeah. You might find yourself if you're worried about finding yourself in that position, then probably just pass it up.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to do that to eats and treats. I can
No,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think that's great.
there are a lot of things to think about when it comes to restaurant ownership. A lot of stuff that I don't like to have to think about. You know, food costs
Yeah.
and portions, and like, and that's just part of it. Then all your employees and doing all this kind of stuff. Okay, so
Yeah.
Kendra says the only thing I'm concerned about is burning myself out because my other job I'm having to get up early in the morning about 5 o'clock, and then I go to work at Eats
Mm.
and Treats from 11 to 7. So, all right, so you're up early in the morning, and then you're working. You're doing
Yeah.
substitute teaching job, and then you go to Eats and Treats, and you're there for a full work day. Full 8 hours, and then you can go home and go to sleep. Yes.
And then you get up and do it again.
I don't
Yeah.
know how long you've had this schedule of work, but I remember when I was working 3 jobs, that burnout was totally it was like always right next to me. Like I felt like I
Mm.
was always on the verge of
Mm.
burning out. But I couldn't do anything at that point. At that point in my life, I had these 3 jobs, and I think my oldest kid was what? My oldest kid was like 4 or 5, and my youngest kid was like 1 or 2. And so I had these 2 little kids, and I was just doing everything I could to try and make money, and just working, struggling, and it was so hard. And I hardly ever saw my kids. I basically saw them, on the weekends. But I was mostly working, and I did talk to all of my bosses, and I was like, look, Sundays I'm not working, because I wanted to have at least one day that was regular, that I would not be working, that I could spend with my kids. But at least one day I could spend with my family, um where I wasn't being pulled in any direction by any kind of a job. So, oh, Kendra says, I think I'm close to it. I also have 2 baby showers coming up, and I'm making baby receiving
Mm.
blankets since I can't afford to buy gifts. Hey, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I applaud you for getting creative, and you can make those things. That's awesome. And those kinds of gifts a lot of times are so much more appreciated than something that's just bought.
That's true.
So, sup,
Yeah.
nerd nuggets. What's up, Savage? It's good to see you, buddy. You're a nerd nugget. Um, but so Kendra, I do understand, that feeling of being almost burnt out. Man, it was crazy. Like I said, when my kids were little, and I was working 3 jobs, I was working all over the place, and just trying so hard to make ends meet, and I was exhausted all the time. All the time, all the time, all the time exhausted. And I would go to bed. This is when I was trying to learn. I tried to experiment with how much sleep you could get away
I
with.
remember this.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I kind of landed on 4.5 hours. That's not healthy. You should get
You did
7.
try 2.
I tried 3.
Oh, I thought you tried 2.
No.
Tried 3.
I tried
Okay.
2 REM cycles.
Yeah, okay.
A REM cycle is 90 minutes approximately, right? And so I
Mhm.
figured, so the way I saw it, every 90 minutes when you're at the end of a REM cycle, you wake up easiest, right? Because you're kind of back in that upper level of sleep. When you're in deep REM sleep, then it's hard to wake up. And so, like, anytime my alarm will go off and I'm in that like deep REM cycle, I'll either just not get up, or if I do, I'm like so groggy and I'm just like all out of
Mhm.
it, and it's hard to get out of bed and everything.
Yeah.
So, Haven't we
By the
all
way,
tried
when
to
I
get the
said
least amount of sleep possible?
when
Yes,
I
I know,
said
Seth.
he tried, yeah, when I said when he tried 3, I meant he tried, or sorry, tried 2, but yeah, he you went like weeks, several weeks, only getting 3
3
hours of
hours.
sleep every night,
Uh-huh.
every single night.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you found yourself waking up in places where you weren't falling asleep in.
Right. Yeah. That was weird. That was really weird.
Yeah, I think
But
you did that for like
yes.
a month or something, right?
Yep. I tried 3 hours of sleep for a month, and I woke up in a
Mhm.
different room, and I was actually peeing on the floor. So then I
Yeah.
had to like wake up and clean all that up.
What a time.
I know.
Oh, I can imagine it. Oh,
Yep.
like, what am I doing?
I was like, what is going on? Like, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway, so then for the longest time I would survive on 4.5 hours of sleep, because that's 3 REM cycles, and 4.5 I could actually survive, and I didn't end up in weird places and weird situations and stuff like that. I'd still wake up in my bed, and and that was great. But I will say this: I've learned now that it's better to prioritize sleep. I don't always get 7 hours of sleep per night, but for your own mental health and for your own physical health, or I mean, really, they always talk about, oh, get 8 hours of sleep or else you won't be healthy. And I didn't really care about my body. I didn't care about my physical health so much. But then when I really struggled with depression and anxiety, that was when I started going to therapy, and they started talking about the importance of sleep when it comes to mental health. And when your mental health goes out the window, like, well, at least I learned this with me. It might be different for other people, but when my mental health goes out the window, like it gets in the way of all the things I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah.
It gets in the way of the goals I'm trying to hit. It gets in the way of the relationships I'm trying to have with my kids. It gets in the way of, you know, all of these all of these things, and it becomes like a big barrier. I found it's the same with like romance. It's the same type of deal. It gets in the way.
All the things you're trying to do.
Gets in the way of all my goals, man. Like, throw them out the window, like.
That's right.
Whatever,
Yeah.
Savage. I know you better than that.
It's funny.
Anyway, yes, but so prioritize sleep. Make it a priority. Oh, you do? Okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk. Anyway, bruh. Um, yes. What was I saying? Prioritize sleep.
Prioritize sleep.
Yep, get some sleep. Put that in your schedule. Like, okay, so you're like, okay, this is when I get up. I got to get up at 5. If I need 7 hours of sleep, then what time do I got to go to bed by? Is that 10 p.m.? You got to get up at 5? And
Oh,
if you want to
mine
get
is 5.
7 hours of sleep, it's 10 p.m., right? So if you go get up at 5, go to work, and then go to eat some treats from 11 to 7, then you have from 7 until 10, and you can do the things you need to do at night, whatever. I end up falling asleep in my recliner most nights. Yeah, that's okay. I have a break in between work to be able to take a 30-minute nap. Naps are lifesavers when you have a schedule like yours. Oh my gosh. Believe me, I know. I remember for a long time I was trying to learn business. I was trying to build business. I was trying to figure all this kind of stuff out. And I had a leadership development company, and that took me on the road all the time. So I was driving around to different meetings all over the place, all over Michigan, basically. But during the day I was doing band instrument repair. So I'd work from like 9 to 5, a normal daytime schedule, and then I'd get out, I'd rush home, I'd put on a suit, and I'd get in my car and I'd drive a couple hours. I'd go do a meeting, and then I would go home, and I'd get home at like, midnight or 1 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Savage, yeah, go play some bass. Go work on we were learning some Rage Against the Machine songs. It's fun. They're great.
Fun. Nice.
But anyway, so I would go quick and go do this stuff and then get home really late and go to sleep and then get up. Man, it seems like most of my adult life I've been running ragged. Have you noticed that, Ryan? Since you met me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has that just been kind of like the mode of operation for Joe? He's always like running
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's so crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would always try and keep busy, and I always was trying to accomplish stuff. And you can totally do that too. But yeah, if you can find a spot for a 30-minute nap or even a 20-minute nap, those are so heavenly. And then sleep 7 hours if you can. And if you can't, try and get as close to that as possible. I remember my therapist when she was talking about the importance of sleep and saying like, okay, so how much sleep do you get? And I was like 4.5 hours. She's like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, why?
Did you just say that to my face?
Yeah.
Excuse me? I'm going to ask the question again. I think either you're an idiot or I'm an idiot. Let's see. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, Kendra. The other place you work at Aromas, you work from either 6 to 10 or 6 to 2:30, depending on the day. But both times I'm able to get a 30-minute nap in before going to Eats and Treats. I have to be up by at least 5. Okay. So, yeah, depending on your day and what you have going on, one of your best friends is going to be a calendar of some kind, whether it's on your phone or a written calendar or whatever, And then as long as you can schedule your rest, that's going to help you a lot. That's going to keep you from getting burned out. And it's going to keep you from, having all kinds of mental health issues. So from there, now you have your jobs, and so you're working, and then you can start fitting in, helping your brother, and doing that, which could then itself turn into a profession as well. You have a marker board calendar and a binder. Perfect. Oh, you're so much more organized than me. Like,
way to go.
I love it. Good job. But yeah, as your brother's thing grows and whatever he decides to have help you, though that can be a career that can make a decent amount of money after a while, after it's established, right? It's not going to be at first. It's probably going to take a few years of consistent effort and consistently growing and consistently trying to figure out how to do it better, how to manage it better, how to bring in more viewers, all those things come into play. But if you treat it like a profession, it can pay you like a profession. And since it's YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, it can pay you passively, which is even better. One of the best people I know at passive income is Ryan.
I do like it.
He's figured this out. He's figured this out so well with the Static P YouTube channel. Now, we helped. There was stuff that I did that helped.
Oh, yeah.
But
I definitely can't take credit for like 90% of it.
Dude, you
guys
wrote the
did
songs.
so much. I wrote the songs.
You wrote the songs.
Obviously.
We just helped with all the management and the Kickstarters.
I've had
a
ton of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a team effort, but because of all that stuff, when was the last, like, we were just looking at it, actually. I was looking at, because Riku is now helping us out with doing releases.
Mm-hmm.
And so Riku was in our DistroKid account. It was like trying to look up, or no, it was on Spotify for artists. It was looking up, different stuff, and got on the Static P thing. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
dang, Ryan, you haven't released anything in over 6 months. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because she was trying to look up this one number,
Mm-hmm.
but it's only for releases within the past 6 months. So it was empty. Like, the page was empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you tell him.
Yeah. You tell him.
But this is the beauty of this idea of passive income. It's been a while since Ryan's released anything, since Static P has put anything out, but there's still money coming in every month, actually every week, from different sources. That's the beauty of passive income. And, YouTube is kind of set up that way. And if there's other stuff you can do, I don't think Twitch is necessarily set up that way. Twitch is kind of like a per stream thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's about right.
But you can use your streams as videos, and then, depending on the audience and the viewerships of those, like, you can make an income. There's income that can be made on all of the social media channels like TikTok and Instagram and blah 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 blah, blah all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
The money on TikTok is abysmal, I hear. But anyway, but when you enter the world of passive income, things can get a little bit more relaxing. Would you say that's true, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you shifted to having your income be completely passive,
absolutely,
you can just kind of relax. You don't have to think about being at a job at a certain time. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Kendra's got some stuff in here. The summer, my schedule will probably change for working at Eats and Treats when school is out, so that school kids can work the lunch rush at Eat and Treats. Gotcha. Also, this summer is when I can spend more time with your brother to help him get started. Perfect. I have a couple of friends that said they would help my brother get his start. One said she would help come up with his VTuber model. The other said they would help with editing. That's awesome. When you can get
that's great.
When you can get a team involved, like, man, it makes it so much better. When you can find people at that point, then it becomes a little bit more of coordinating. So if you're kind of managing the whole thing, but you got these people helping out, now you have to think in terms of coordinating everybody's schedules and everybody's tasks. So people are kind of clear on what it is that they're doing and moving things through. And that also is a skill in delegation and stuff like that. But you can totally do it, Kendra. I know you well enough to know you're smart.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a sweetheart.
And creative.
So, yep, and very creative.
Yeah, and sweetheart.
So, like, all of these things are within your grasp. The challenge is going to be, like, as you venture into these new areas, there might be some fear involved, some apprehension, because you might not necessarily know what to do. And some of these things can be really intimidating. YouTube is intimidating to me.
Sure.
Just because there's a lot of stuff in releasing videos and putting stuff out there and all, like, YouTube, it just is intimidating to me. I don't know necessarily why. It just seems complicated. Social media seems intimidating to me. All of that. It's the thing is none of these things are really all that hard. I know people who have succeeded in those areas, and I know I'm as smart as they are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of having the time to figure it out and then not freaking myself out through that intimidation. But Kendra, you can totally do it. Totally. So, Ryan, did you have anything else?
I only have one thing to say. Kendra, on the part of the blanket, if it ends up unfinished by the time the baby shower happens, you can just tell them, I've got I've got your present coming. I'm working on it. It's on its way. That's all you need to say. And they will appreciate the blanket whenever it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. It's the day is probably it's like, oh, you didn't get it to me on that day, so I don't really like the gift. That's not gonna happen, right?
Mm.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you, especially if it's a homemade gift, like you make it yourself, people love that.
Mm-hmm.
That means so much more. So I think it's the right move. If you can't finish it in time, don't stress yourself out about, oh no, I gotta get it done by this date. Just say, they're gonna love this gift whenever they get it. So it's okay if it's a week late. It's okay if it's 3 weeks late. They'll understand what it was for. It's for your baby shower, and you'll have told them ahead of time, and it will be good. So if it's looking like that's not going to happen, I would recommend that. I would recommend just telling them and don't stress yourself out. Get it done when you can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I got to add.
Nice.
Yeah. Kendra, you're amazing. Thank you for, again, sharing yourself with us, sharing your time with us,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're so busy. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm really glad, and I'm really proud of you.
Me too. Very proud of you.
It's not easy to be where you're at. It's not easy to work 3 jobs and then be looking at all these different changes,
No, it's incredible.
but you're doing great.
And the fact that you're keeping it together at all is incredible to me because that is so. I tried to work. How many was that? It was 3. I tried to work 3 jobs once, but my communication between the 2 jobs where it wasn't good enough, and eventually I ended up not working at a certain job for like 3 weeks straight. And then at the end of that, they had me come in once, and then it was like another 2 weeks before they could reschedule me again. And then they were just like, it seems like this isn't working out because your other job is so. My other job was so like, none of my jobs were like, what's the word? I didn't know. I had no idea what my schedule was going to be for that job until like the day before or 2 days before.
Oh,
So that
yeah,
gave
that's
me
stupid.
no time to communicate to the other one. This is what my schedule looks like for this one when they're both doing that at different times. So it was like, I couldn't work it out. Maybe if I tried harder, I could have, but I didn't. So yeah.
I think the key when you have that much is you have to be upfront about your availability and be like, for one job, I'm only available this time. For the other job, I'm available this time, right? And so like
that
they
makes sense.
always can schedule for those times, and that's it. But sometimes even that's impossible. The only way I managed to have 3 jobs was there was only one of them where the schedule was determined by another person other than me. My other 2 jobs that I had at the time, so I was working at a grocery store. That was the one that somebody else made the schedule. I was also doing coding for the AC Nielsen company, coding new products into their database. That was all on my, like, I had a task list to do.
So you could do it in your own time, but you had the task.
Right? And then my third profession at that time was doing inspections. And that, that's just, you do it when you have time. You get a list of things to do, and you got to accomplish it whenever you accomplish it. This is when it's due, but, like, that's the times you have. Yeah. Kendra, you're very welcome for listening and talking about this. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing part of your life with us. You are awesome.
Yeah.
This is one of those rare
Yeah,
Wednesdays where you're able to join us. I'm glad you were here. And you say both your jobs have a calendar that you write off if something is happening because they do 2 weeks at a time. Yes, that is very nice.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
And then substitute teaching is like a call thing. So they ask if you're available, and then, okay, gotcha. That's a lot easier, to manage, in those scenarios than what Ryan was talking about. It was almost like the jobs that you had set you up to, like you could.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Yeah, both of them were they make the schedule for me, and they only made the schedule like literally days before the week started. They were both really bad.
Mhm.
They shouldn't have done that, but yeah, that just made it impossible.
Mhm.
Well, not impossible, but it would have required me to be more active in making the schedule, and I just didn't really bother.
Mhm.
So
Well, and
I
it's
lost that
weird.
job.
Sometimes
It
they
was
don't
fine.
even. Sometimes they don't even allow you to. Sometimes you get managers in there that are just like, "Psh, I'm gonna make the schedule the way I see fit, and you're gonna work when I tell you, or else you're gonna be fired."
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
managers like that, and then it's kind of weird. When I worked at the grocery store and I was setting up schedules like that, there was a manager who kind of tried to be like that. But by this time, I was older. I had had business experience. I had had so many different jobs where I knew how to deal with managers. I just walked in and I asserted myself. And I was just like, look, I'm available this time, this time, this time, this time. I'm not available these other times. If you schedule me for a time I'm not available, I won't show up, and it won't be it won't be my fault. It's going to be yours. This is when I'm available.
Way to go, Joe.
So, because sometimes,
That's just the bottom line. It's just the truth, you know?
right,
It's
right.
like
It's like, look, I'm busy. I have lots of stuff
Yeah.
going on. If you want me to work here, I'm happy to put in my effort for you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I'll go find another job. I've had 1,000 different jobs in my life. I'll find another one. Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of how it goes. Oh, Kendra, both my jobs also have so many people working as they are small businesses. So they need to make sure they have people able to work. Yeah, that's true. But yeah. So, but it's crazy because it's nice when you have a manager that'll work with you. You have a manager that
That is nice.
doesn't, man, it just makes it so hard. And then it's almost like I don't even want to work here anymore.
Yeah.
Fire
You
me,
know, in the
please.
end, I think whatever happened, but I kind of wish I would have, because one of them was willing to work with me and one of them wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up getting bossed around, I guess you could say, by the one that wasn't. And
Mm,
that's what led to the loss of the other job.
yeah.
But I actually liked the other job way more.
Mm,
It would just, I needed to put forth the effort to go see her and say, hey, let's work together. Because she offered. She said, you can work on your schedule with me.
okay.
Because she was awesome.
And
And
she
I
knew you
actually
had
liked
another
working there.
job and all that.
Yeah.
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 Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just kind of stuck in a position waiting on the other job to tell me what to do before I could tell her what they told me to do. And that just, that's stupid. That was that, I was young. I didn't know better. It was a stupid move. I should have just went and seen her and like, I'd rather have this job, to be honest. It's nice. Yeah.
I gotcha. Hey, Kendra, you're very welcome. Enjoy your evening. And that's actually totally fine because we're wrapping up. It's time for us to wrap
Yep.
up too.
It is time for us to wrap up. Yep.
So thank you guys so much for being here. Again, we're not counselors, we're not therapists, we're not professionals, and we're not a substitute for professional counseling, but we will try and help in any way we possibly can. We love you guys. Go to don'tworrywednesday.com if you have a topic you'd like to submit for us to talk about. We welcome any and all topics. I know that I might have just
Wow. Any and all. We mean it.
Yep. So whatever, even if you want to try and stump us, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You want to hear us like trip over our words a bunch, send us tongue twisters or something. I don't know. But yep, do it up. And so yep, that's don'tworrywednesday.com. The floodgates are open. Hero, oh my gosh, Hero, I saw you in the chat and I was like, I'm proud of you for starting to do some streaming. You say you plan to do your first stream later this month. Very proud of you.
Hey, that's awesome.
So so keep us in the loop, man. If you want to come, let us know where it is, when it is, all that kind of stuff. We'd be happy.
Hero, like write me a personal message on Discord and DM it to me when you, if you get a chance and you feel like, what's the word? Confident enough that you're going to be streaming on that day, send it to me. I'd like to show up.
Yeah, it'd be great.
If I can, obviously. We're very different schedules, but I can try.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you next week on Don't Worry Wednesday. Wait, you were inspired by a certain cat and start to try your hand at it after enjoying their stream so much. Nice. Awesome.
That was a certain cat and stat.
Oh,
That
a
would be
cat and
that would
stat.
be that'd be Nyansai and Statty P. I'm going to guess.
Ah, yes, a cat and
This,
stat.
yeah. I like that. I've never heard that one before, Hero, but I like it. Cat and stat.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you guys, until next time, take very good care of yourselves and of the people around you. And we will see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, have a great week. We love you guys.
Love you all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Blessings. Peace.